So when I was a kid, I knew that I was creative. But sometimes I get frustrated that I wasn't creative in all the ways I wanted to be creative. Like I'd see a canvas or paper and paint brushes and paint, and I'd think to myself, I can do that. Then I'd start, and anything I painted would look more like a Picasso on a bad day than Van Gogh's Starry Night. Yeah, I'm not very good at painting. I bet if you look at your kids, I bet at least a few of them feel the same way. Sometimes they hate being on the stage, they have no rhythm, they can't play an instrument, or like me, they can't paint or draw very well. For whatever reason, a lot of kids have been taught to think about creativity in terms of arts and crafts, music and dance. But there's something about creativity that we all need to remember. We're not creative because of our talents. We're creative because that's how God made us. He designed each of us with a mind to think beyond ourselves and imagine the possibility for, well, anything. And it's our imagination that actually suggests that God really does exist. Our imagination suggests there's definitely a creator that has designed each of us with a unique ability. It's God's image in us that gives us the capacity to see beyond the ordinary and to understand the dimension of life that a dog or a tree or a whale just can't experience. We're different from every other species because we are made in God's image, and our imagination is a reflection of His image. That's why we want to spend the next few weeks in Sunday school talking about creativity. For the next month, we'll talk about creativity like this: imagining what you could do because you were made in God's image. We hope to spark creativity this month by reminding every child how God's indescribable creativity can show up in each one of them. Week 1, we'll go back to the very beginning and we'll see how God is the author of creation, from the teeny tiniest molecule to the largest planet out in space. God put it all into motion, and it's pretty incredible. Bottom line, there is no limit to God's creativity. Week 2, we'll take a look at something Paul wrote in Ephesians 2:10. He talks about how we are God's creation. He created us to belong to Jesus. He created us to do good in the world. And we hope kids start to realize just how God created them to do something awesome. Bottom line, God created you so you can be creative. Then in week 3, we'll spend time looking more closely at the story of Esther. Esther had no idea how God would use her when she was chosen to become the queen of Persia. God put her in that role to rescue His people from Haman. Like Esther, God has something big in mind for each one of us as well. Bottom line, God created you for a purpose. Week 4, we'll see what happens when 4 friends put their heads together. When Jesus was coming to town, 4 friends decided to stop what they were doing and bring their sick friend to Jesus to be healed. They went above and beyond to make sure he could see Jesus. Bottom line, God created you to work with others. We'll finish out August with something Jesus said as part of the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus asked us to use our creativity to be salt and light in the world around us. Jesus wants us to use us, to point others to Him. Bottom line, God created you to share His story. Everything we're saying about God's creativity can be summed up in our memory verse for the month, found in Psalm 145:3. Lord, you are great. You are really worthy of praise. No one can completely understand how great you are. In this psalm, David reminds us that God is so big, so amazing, no one can possibly grasp how incredible he is. Thankfully, God sent Jesus to show us just how amazing he is. And that means we worship him with everything that we have. Every parent, every leader, every teacher wants the children they influence to live their lives to the fullest. And when we really believe that we are made in the image of God, we believe in a new set of possibilities. Our imagination is unleashed. God can use how he wonderfully made us to point people